This is Baseball TV. Ramirez at the plate, drills this one in the air to deep right field. Back at the track, at the wall. This is gone. A 3-run home run for Aramis Ramirez, and it's 6-3 Texas, home of champions. And back to the offseason report. Now time to take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays. Third best team in the majors last year, second best in the American League. Well, how about that season? Theo Epstein cruising to 96 wins, their best campaign since 1992. And that amazing pitching staff combining for a team ERA of just 2.66. You've got to be real good to put together those numbers. The starting rotation was incredibly consistent. Well, in the end, Toronto picked up its first ever wild card, swept the defending champion Indians, but things got cut short of the LCS against the Yankees.
Since the 2000 World Series championship, it's a strike away. 1-2, and the Yankees are going to the World Series. Wilson strikes out. The Yankees have done it. They are going to the Fall Classic, and they have beaten the Blue Jays in 6.
Oh, that's right. Spring training, sunny Florida, and baseball are right around the corner. The Blue Jays and their fans will be seeking to up their game from 2010, try and stretch their wings even further. What was allegedly lacking last year was veteranship, playoff experience, and consistent home runs. Well, how about Aramis Ramirez for power? That's right, Epstein went negotiating at the winter meetings and traded away the slumping Rios for Aramis Ramirez.
July 1st, and Derek Lee, that's his 23rd. Now Ramirez sends one deep to left center. Cameron looks up. That one's gone.
Well, that man, Ramirez, he's just 28 years of age, approaching that peak time in his career in terms of performance. So great timing there for Epstein. Ramirez is arguably the greatest addition you can make to a ball club that needs more of a core. In 1998, he made his debut in Pittsburgh, moved to the Windy City for a while, and played a good ball with the Cubs. Then he was shipped south to the Texas Rangers, where he enjoyed tremendous success. You'd think the Cubs regretted their move. Let's check out that success. Last year, he led the majors in RBIs. He was tied in second place with New York's Adam Dunn for most home runs, and it's now been 4 consecutive years that he's hit 35 or plus dingers. So it's fair to say that he's developed into a steady player who's consistent, who's productive. He's not just having an outbreak year. As we take a look at more numbers from last year, he hit .308, batted in 127 ribbies. I mean, that's all-star caliber, and he's currently a slugger of this decade. Take a look at the on-base percentage. That's an important stat for Theo Epstein, and .365, that's not outstanding for a slugger, but it's a career high for Ramirez, and it's not bad at all. He will take walks, he will get on base, and certainly the Blue Jays need a guy like Ramirez so they can build a core and strong lineup around these numbers. And check out over the years batting average. It's consistently increasing from .272 in 07 to .308 last season. I mean, he's gone from a guy who wants to go deep every at-bat to learning more how to hit for average, getting on base regularly, and that's a real important thing for a cleanup hitter. And you can also see how the RBIs follow that trend. Ramirez being increasingly productive, learning how to handle himself, not just as a slugger, but as a run producer and as a proper cleanup hitter. In terms of defense, if you look at 2008 and 2009 combined, that's 38 errors and just a .966 fielding percentage, so that's not so good for the hot corner. But check out last season. From 19 errors to 11, he's elevated his game defensively, and you've got to be impressed again by the timing of Theo's acquisition. That's a terrific addition for Toronto, and that will surely boost them even more. Well, another major acquisition the Blue Jays made over the winter was the signing of 26-year-old Delmon, a terrific athlete with lots of potential that he's already displayed mostly with the Tigers organization. He was a first-round draft pick back in 2003 by the Tampa Bay Rays. He was traded to Detroit shortly thereafter, and he has now agreed to terms with Toronto for 3 years at $3 million. He's coming off a very solid year offensively, having hit .302 with 19 homers and a very good on-base percentage at .386. Again, that's something to highlight. The Blue Jays are needy of consistency while getting on base. They need some of what Lyle Overbay did last year for Toronto, and Delmon can provide that. Check out his career numbers, 283 average in 09 to 302 last season. Maybe less RBIs last season, but overall, Young is becoming more reliable and more solid with time, and he's also a very good fielder. And he's a stealer of bases, that is. He's got great wheels, and putting him and Figgins together in the same lineup could create a terror on the bases.
And Young in a deep left center field. Well, Dyer scores easily. Delmon Young wants a triple. That is his second of the year, along with his 46th RBI.
Bring on the Tigers indeed. The Blue Jays have acquired 3 players from the Tigers, all in separate trades and signings, including Young, as we mentioned, Guillen, the shortstop, and Miyagi, the closer. And now let's take a look at Carlos Guillen, the longtime Detroit man at shortstop. He has spent the last 7 years in a Tigers uniform, but the Tigers decided to leave him go in exchange for Pedro Feliz, whom the Blue Jays traded away. Feliz provided mixed results for Toronto last year. Now, it's funny because Guillen seems to lack credit because he played for a team who don't win too many games, the Detroit Tigers, that is. But in fact, Guillen is a very good player who's been consistent over the years, and that's precisely what we see in Toronto's acquisitions this year, is shopping for consistency. Guillen hit over 300 from 2006 to 2008, and then 298 in 2009. That dropped down a little last season to 285, but he's had a power surge with a career-high 23 home runs last season with 106 RBIs, so that's another source of power for Toronto. Take a look at the on-base percentage. It's dropped somewhat last year if you compare it to 2006, but that's not something I would worry about. I'm sure that Guillen can post power numbers and maintain a good average. And it should be said that Guillen is the type of player who can be a leader on a ball club. He works hard, he's committed every day. He's a welcome addition anywhere. Defensively, the Blue Jays want him with open arm. For one thing, he's a shortstop, whereas Feliz last year was not. Guillen has good range both sides and a strong arm. Despite the error increase over the last 3 years, Guillen looks stronger with a .978 fielding percentage than Feliz, who committed 21 errors at short last season. Now, Guillen only has 1 year left on his contract, and you wonder if that's why Detroit, was more willing to trade him. I reckon you can expect many solid years from Guillen, and he'll probably receive an extension before the end of the year.
And it's hit in the air to right field and hit well. Back goes Ichiro, and it's gone. And what an at-bat for Carlos Guillen. A line drive home run into the first row, and the Tigers are on the board. That is one of the best at-bats of the season.
That's an outstanding swing by Guillen. He gets through it, and he finishes his swing, and he drives it out there. It didn't get much better than that.
Toronto might have made an early exit out of the playoffs due to a lack of veteran pitching, and therefore the Blue Jays front office had a need for veteran pitching. The GM traded away reliever Brendan Donnelly, outfielder Frank Catalanato, and utility man Bobby Hill to Boston in exchange for 40-year-old veteran knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. That man right there, he's been a big leaguer since 1992, and more importantly, he has been in Boston since 1995, so the move up north and into Canada will be something to handle for him. But for Toronto, Wakefield is a pitcher with playoff experience and a guy you can turn to in important situations. He's undoubtedly the soothing presence in the clubhouse. It seems like he's always regulated the pace in the starting five, and without being an ace, you feel like he can be an example to younger pitcher. What will be very interesting to see is whether he can adapt to a new clubhouse, a new feel, and a new team after having spent 11 years with Boston, besides the short Tampa Bay stay. Anyhow, in terms of numbers, last year certainly not one of his best with an ERA above 5, but I'm sure we all remember when he posted ERAs under 3 a few years back. He might not find those numbers again, but despite the age, a knuckleballer like Wakefield still has stuff in his arm, and we'll see whether having Theo Epstein in office again could boost his confidence. In the postseason, he's pitched 91 innings. That's quite a good amount to bring to a rotation inexperienced in the playoffs. Wakefield pitched magnificently back in the 2005 and 2006 postseason, so that's definitely a plus. His knuckleball doesn't come at a low price, however. For a 40-year-old who's had an ERA above 5 last season, he's being paid a lot of money. He's only got 1 year left, so if he doesn't